Hi guys, how's it in the name of Christ? It's your girl Garabo. It's cranky. 1 minute. I had to go switch on some lights back there. What's up? I'm under a lot of attack from the ominous animal in America, but yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But let me just put some caveats out there first. First of all, I think I'm wearing app makeup. I am definitely wearing application makeup, so it might bounce around. Secondly, I've got inaccurate captions, so please just take them in your stride. I don't have time to edit them. I like them there, however. They're sometimes irreverent and they use a small g for God, so just look out for that. Misspellings and all that jazz is like a thing. I might have a speech lag later, but I don't think so. I don't know, because it's kind of cool outside. Usually when it's cool, I don't really struggle with a speech lag. Okay. So let's just get straight into this discussion. I'm a little bit flat. No, not a little. I am a lot flat. I am out of my mind in under demonic attack, and it's a pestilent buttock chilling in America that keeps going back to the drawing board with his death spells, etc. and love spells, like a combination of love me. Okay, fine, if you don't want to dive in. And he expects that the day may very potentially arrive when I either commit suicide or beg him, like as in grovel at his feet, asking him to give me mercy. I had a dream of him essentially opening some shoddy, ugly looking casket box. We'll call it a casket box, like you know, the ring box that you put in a wedding ring in. You know how guys get done and they're like, you marry me? Yeah. He was opening that up for me because I finally capitulated to letting him take care of me. Okay, and he had caused so much calamity in my life through my family, who just could not stop abusing me. Extended family, let me just put that out there, not just these people living on the same yard as me, but as in uncles were involved, aunts and everything, just really ramping up crazy against me. Well, the witchcraft is taking effect physically in that whenever I get lambasted by Boloinyana Bojwalo, it affects my physical body. I get this guy's trying to kill me, so I get lots of depression. I get lots of why can't I just die feelings. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Like, I don't even know where to start. I will conquer this as I always conquer everything. But in order for me to get there, it has to be thoroughly explained why under heaven it is that God put in his word certain proclamations. He did say, do not suffer the witch to live. This guy in the US, I've been asking God, okay, why don't you just kill him? When is he gonna die? Because frankly, a lot of people would be relieved if he did. And the answer that I get from that is, for the very same reason I have not killed your cousin yet. For the very same reason your mother is still alive. For the very same reason your sister is still alive. For the very same reason your ex-boyfriend is still alive. For the very same reason some of your former colleagues are still alive. For the very same reason that your former best friend is still alive. For the very same reason that all your friends from high school are still alive. For the very same reason that every single person, basically, that's ever cast even one spell on you is still alive. My word is true, it's real when I say, do not suffer the witch to live. This is why. But it's 2023 and there are 8 billion people on Earth. Out of that 8 billion, it is not confirmed. Not by any human being anyway. How many of them are These incessant freaks that are the bane of everybody's existence. It's an incalculable number, essentially, by the naked eye, with the naked eye, for us to get to. There are so many of them that it would essentially bring about an apocalypse, an extinction level event, if God just dropped all of them dead. Do not suffer the witch to live was only feasible as a commandment back then because there were so few of them in society at the time. There was enough fear of God in societies for people to avoid witchcraft, and anybody that dared dabble with it understood they were risking their own life and that they were risking their reputations in the community. That if at all they got busted, they would inevitably get killed. And so there was a strong disincentive to go out like that. Well, I mean, of course, the devil has always given people bravery anyway to do it, even with it being so risky. But when something is disincentivized in a society by the law, yeah, it does indeed prosper that particular disincentive to curb that activity from continuing to proliferate itself, spreading itself like a junkie in the streets of Philadelphia. Because that's what's actually currently happening in America. Junkies are sprawled all over the streets. Okay, yeah. Back in the day, humanity was still rational, and that's why God didn't end the world. Largely, they were sufferable, they were tolerable, they were survivable. But then, you know, the scriptures, it is written therein that they graduated from that to new heights of insanity, and so God had to kill them all. That whole thing will happen, it will. It absolutely will happen, but not before certain things occur first. Okay. There were not as many witches back in the day because it was outlawed in countries. It was outlawed in Israel. Even in nations that were not godly, it was frowned upon. In Africa, villages still to this day come out with pitchforks and sticks and all different kinds of weaponry that they can find when they find out that somebody in the neighborhood is bewitching everybody. It's still happening, still to this day. That's how much some people still respect the fact that this thing is rubbish. So if you are a Mutagati and you get found as such, there are certain portions of the world that will take out vigilantically so people that the police are not gonna arrest. It's currently happening in South Africa, where in villages, especially in the rural areas, it's so bad, the amount of witchcraft being practiced by people there, afflicting the communities, that given that this random rubbish is legal in South Africa, ain't no police gonna come and collect these freaks and put them in a jail cell. So they get burned. They have a tire put around their bodies and they just light it up. They throw them in a ditch and close it with them alive. They put petrol on them and set them alight. It's happening in 2023 because people are just exhausted with evil being allowed to run rampant with nobody doing anything about it. But you see, when governing authorities, when our leaders are not protecting us from things that we are in dire need of protection from, they go out of their way to arrest vigilantes who, frankly, absent of their intervention, so very many more people would die. This is 2023 and I can't take it. I don't know, you know? And I don't know who can, really. I don't know who can. Like back in the day, in Bible days and even later, you know? Even after Christ died, witchcraft in societies was outlawed, guys. Just like many of the things that are crimes today, that are allowed, by our countries today. Yeah, they were outlawed, back in the day. And so societies were better able to survive egregious afflictions of their human rights, far better than what we're surviving in 2023. Okay? In a society where witchcraft is outlawed, there therefore must also be an executive, like a police force, that will make sure that if you get found doing witchcraft, you get put on trial. And then if you're found guilty, you then endure the requisite punishment for that sorcery. So very many people frown upon the Salem witch trials in America. And all I can think about is, y'all were not there. You did not live in that time. You don't know what witches endured those lands through, what those Puritans went through. And so therefore, from a vantage point of history being written by a whole bunch of pagans that are trying to legalize their craft, you will think that the Puritans were just subjugating a whole bunch of innocent women to death even though they hadn't done it. To this day, the Salem witch trials are frowned upon. My oh my, how I can't wait for the great white throne judgment where the record is going to be set straight. Where it is going to be made apparent and clear that certain things just had to happen. Because look at the abolishment of those witch trials. Look at what it's produced in 2023. Look at what allowing, giving flexibility, leg room to dangle thine witchy legs all over the show has achieved in 2023 in America. I get Salem was in America. Those witch trials were in the US. The Puritans were American. God has blessed that land even though he's taking away his blessing from it because it bred some pretty holy men that proliferated the gospel across the world. But they've dropped the ball, so whatever. Yeah, the Lord would not have blessed them as a country if they didn't get even that right. Y'all need to get the proper perspective. Those Puritans are the seed of America, and largely the reason why America today is what it is. It was a land full of holy men that did not take any prisoners, and so God blessed it. But no, you did away with the witch trials. And now look at America. They're busy doing rituals, seances, calling them as such even in the news. At the Grammys, at the VMAs, at the MTV Awards, in music videos. Look at Doja Cat. Look at Beyonce. They're practicing in broad daylight. Witches are being interviewed on YouTube channels explaining their craft, trying to justify it. Yeah. That's the America that has legalized that which was so illegal once upon a time that if you got found doing it, you were punished in a most heinous fashion. And now that the witch trials are gone, you water it down further and you legalize it so much that people are even doing tutorials of witchcraft on YouTube. So I mean, America's Babylon now, isn't it? It has upset me. And I used to love them so much. Because, you know, they were pious at some point. They produced some of the grandest preachers on the earth. And the men who were trained by them were still so excellent in this 21st century that I got discipled all the way in South Africa by America. They were that excellent. And now they're falling apart. As a country, they're being unraveled. They're being unthreaded. Just rolling down a hill like Jack and Jill, fetching a pail of water with Jack coming down first and Jill then tumbling after. Like London Bridge, they're falling down because now the Puritans are buried and the witches are in broad daylight publicly doing seances on television for entertainment. So of course it's Babylon now. Of course America's falling apart now because the Salem witch trials are now the Christian trials. We are now the ones that are being burned at the stake. We're being smothered, we're being silenced. Yeah, we're being shadow banned by YouTube. We're being abused by rapists sitting all the way in South Africa that are chilling in America. Men in California running around as free men, out on parole because a global disease ransacked the earth. Even though he nearly killed a man. Attempted murderers are running around free because COVID-19 happened and the same little killer is trying to kill me. That's America. Not only is that same little killer trying to kill me, right? He's also a witch that would have been on trial if America had stayed holy, but it didn't. Instead, he's being cheered on, that random guy, by Beyonce, by Sam Smith, by the elite of that land that say, do what thou wilt, for this is the whole of the law. And so now the whole of the US is purging, and it's purging now even on me. having unleashed one of their menacing beasts that hope that the day's gonna arrive when I'm gonna grovel at his ugly feet. Oh my goodness. And say, please have mercy on me, which, imagine a Christian begging a devil worshipper to have mercy on them. Whoa, it's like God begging the devil to have mercy on him. I mean, do you see how that can never happen? Can never work, right? Yeah, but I mean, when your country gives you that much bravado that you thoroughly think it feasible that working for Satan, you can make a person that works for God beg you for mercy? When you're that naive, yeah, look around and ask yourself how you got trained such a deep naivety. I guess your whole country must also be naive then, to imagine that it can carry on acting a fool, freeing prisoners out of jail, and still be great as a nation. It's just entirely naive for America to think they have a future when they have unleashed monsters on, never mind other Americans, but like people across the continents. Like, I'm in a completely different continent and I've got like one of the little jailbirds that was set free, gnawing away at my blood. He's like this vampire drinking out of me every day, as through a straw. And I'm like, wow. That's what happens when you abolish the Salem witch trials. Your country just, dwindles from there. Everything falls apart. The tables turn so badly that now the people who are on trial are the Christians. And the witches are the ones dropping the gavel on some guilty so big me, beastly carnivore in America, scavenger. Herein lies what David gotta say about whatever you're attempting to achieve in my life. I was young, then I got old, yet never have I seen the righteous forsaken, or their children begging for bread. So, I mean, to attempt to get a child of God to grovel and beg, given that they imagine themselves at the mercy of a devil worshipper. Goodness gracious, on that day, you are some flipped upside down rando that's been handed over to a reprobate mind. For you have not loved the truth, but rather taken pleasure in your unrighteousness. Therefore God sent you a strong delusion so you can continue to believe the lie, and so be deceived unto the end of you, or something. You have taken heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of demons, and now you are discombobulated in your thought, imaginative that the day will ever arrive when David will be young and then get old, then witness the righteous being abandoned on the street to burn at the stake as the true miscreants, while their children also beg for bread. You're that guy. You've got that naivety in your bones. It's rich. A guy in America, the Californian, moved to Philadelphia. I feel like streets of Philadelphia are calling your name. Yeah, because that's where people high on trank are like walking around looking like zombies. That's more or less where you should go and stay. Move to Philadelphia so you can fit right in, cause right now you're freaking tranquilized on some drug that's made you high on the supply of a demon. Okay? To a point of imagining it feasible that the day will ever arrive when I will salivate at the beck and call of a wand wielder, hoping to make me a puppet on a string because he managed to make my whole family menacing. I'm sorry. Go and get on fentanyl and pass away. Or trank? I don't know. Whatever might be the pill of choice, you're in dire need of an overdose. At this point, anything will do to cause you to pass away. Anything. Seeing as your own government is not busy putting a lethal injection in your bloodstream, I feel as if though you should just go and take yourself out with trank. Fentanyl, mix it with some nails, or maybe come to South Africa and take something called nyaupe allow yourself to be all dizzy on the side of the street, high on glue, something that's just gonna knock you out because your government is not trying to put a lethal injection in your bloodstream fast enough. I found out the other day, by the way, you attempted murderer, you, that California has a death penalty. I don't understand how that's even a thing. It's one of those random loose cannon states in the US that don't have any morals. How in the world they have still got the death penalty is beyond me. I would have imagined that only Republican states still have the death penalty. Or is the death penalty an American thing, just generally? Or are there any states there that don't have it? It's been outlawed in South Africa because we're crazy. But I understand that lethal injection is still a thing in America, but I'm not sure if it's all the states. Is it all the states? Whatever, who cares? I don't care. But if it's not all the states, I came to learn that California is one of them places that knock people out for being gangster. And so I would imagine that likely murder warrants a death penalty, right? Like, what does a person have to do to be put on death row? I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, here in Los, how did I find out? How did I find out that California has the death penalty? Again, it's just a crazy state. Like, America is crazy. Some places more than others. California's like really hard knock with it. Apparently, allegedly, state funds are being directed to giving mastectomies, otherwise known as a boob lift. Yeah, a boob job. That's what's good. To transitioning prisoners in the state penitentiaries of California to give them gender reaffirming care, including inmates on death row. That's how I found out that California has a death penalty. I found out through watching somebody talking about the lunacy of Californian laws in allowing death row inmates to get boob jobs. Boob jobs, okay? Because they're transitioning from being men to women, hoping as well to move to female correctional facilities so as to have a lesser harsh life, I guess, in prison. Like, you know when you find out stuff through yet another sin the country's committing? Anyway, whatever. So, if at all your mastectomy to death row inmates giving country can have a death penalty, I wonder then, what does it take to get a person killed? If at all you can give mastectomies to death row inmates, like, what do you have to be on that day? Like Hannibal Lecter? A bit of a Ted Bundy? What do you have to be, America? Tell me. Is it just murder? Does it just fly? Like, first degree murder, is that enough? I would imagine culpable homicide, probably not, yeah? Maybe first degree murder, like premeditated murder, like you stab your wife 6 times, and then next thing you're on death row. If that's the case, why, Lord have mercy on me. I need to understand what's going on with America. Then again, you did outlaw the Salem witch trials, so you had this coming. Yeah. If at all you can kill people for killing people, why the heck are you setting people that almost killed people free? I mean, what was going on in the mind of the state of California when they set people that almost got on death row? Like that dude, he keeps dodging a bullet, like he needs to leave the earth. I mean, the guy that he tried to kill eventually died, like proper. He died in his sins. It was his stepfather, married to his mom, and guess who eventually finished him off? His mom. They come from like a family of murderers or something. Yeah. So, I mean, you could have just brought in his death date a little bit and just like allowed that guy to finish him so he would then be on death row, and then I would never have met him. Like, I never would be dealing with this like violent beast in my backyard. Would not be out here trying to cause my mama to kill her own kid, seeing as his mama is into driving knives into the backs of men until they die. Like, you know when you come from just like violence, and all you can do is just be rough, like, all you can do is just be a murderer, like, you just pounce on people. My question is, why, oh why, Lord, did you not allow that little machete-wielding rando? Why didn't you just allow him to, like, end the life of the guy that eventually died anyway from the hands of his family members? Because, I mean, it didn't make a difference giving him a few extra years because he still died in his sins. So you could have spared me, who is your child. Give me favor. Ever meeting that balloon? Because here it is that now I'm facing imminent death. Because some, like, little parasite got set free. Like, what? America. We need to understand, like, a proper... Like, what in the world? Oh, California. You who has a death row for nothing. It's a waste of death row. Like, you've literally got death row. It's a waste. Just love to waste. Like, what are you doing? You're like a global superpower and you're wasting that? You've got this beautiful platform called YouTube and Facebook where you can proliferate your beautiful American thing and then you like shadow ban the planet. Like, it's so wasteful. It's so wasteful. So full of waste. And now you're about to like squander your inheritance because you insist on putting Christians on trial instead of witches. Whatever, man, America, do you. But bottom line, I just want to know this thing. Tell me this one thing, okay? Please, can we know? I want to know. I have intrigue in it. I have interest. What motivated the decision to set free among those that you put on parole thanks to COVID-19? Attempted murderers? I mean, couldn't you have just gone for the petty thieves? Eh? Couldn't you have just gone for the guys that, you know, stole a car? Like, even grand larceny is better than attempted murder. Now, couldn't you have just gone for the arsonists that did not kill people? They just burned a building. Couldn't you have just set free the cheats, you know, the fraudsters, the white-collar criminals, the guys who laundered money, you know, the ones that embezzled funds from their companies? Couldn't you just set those guys free? Because, I mean, other people would have lived, even though they're roaming these streets. Because they don't got blood on their hands. They don't have a bloodthirst. They do not have a bloodthirst. They just have a money thirst to a point where they'll steal it out of your pocket. But at least you get to live. That's what everybody feels in the middle of a robbery. Happy once the robber is gone if everyone is alive. The thing that really gets to everybody is if there has been a casualty. It's if someone has passed away. That's when it gets somber. But if people live, okay, fine, it's $100, I'll make it again. Okay, fine, it's just a car, we'll buy another one. We've got insurance, but when people die, that's not something we can come back from. So what motivated the decision to set free attempted murderers? What made California make a decision that amidst all these criminals were setting free? Because the prisons are crowded and they're all gonna catch each other's COVID. Yeah. What made you decide to just pull out of a hat like a random draw attempted murder as one of the feasible cases to be set free? Because this is a guy that even though he didn't succeed, he frankly got blood on his hands. He nearly killed. And the only difference between him and the murderer is that the person got taken to hospital, got put on a defibrillator, got donated blood, got surgically like stitched up, and after a couple of days of crossing the fingers, the guy still is releasing a beep 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 on the monitor. He's still alive. That's the only difference. The victim survived. This guy stabbed a man multiple times, and that like random bugger lived. Right? He did not even mistakenly happen upon his body. He was more like the lady who killed, is it Pop? In Cell Block Tango. You know how she like, he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. Yeah, this dude, if some man ran into his knife 10 times, but he lived. He's like the Pop that kept on popping the bubble gum. And then he got set free a couple of years down the line before his sentence was finished. I'm sorry, I'll take the money launderer any day. Bring the embezzler. Oh, come on, like, give me the car thief. Why you gonna go and give me the dude into whose knife Pop ran 10 times? Anyway, whatever, America, that's what you're doing. You set free an attempted murderer, and here it is that same Pop is trying to run me into his knife 10 times. I'm sorry, he's gonna run into mine. Because such people are the types that get released, do you understand, into society and then cause blood to flow in the hands of those that would never have shed it, because people now have to like literally walk in self-defense. You put me in a position to kill your little assassin. Like proper. I'm trying to get this guy to die because America unleashed him on me, and I found out that California has a death penalty. This guy could have totally died at the hands of the state, but the victim just had to go and survive. America, however, ought have been smart enough to realize that attempted murder is dangerous enough. That's what's good, to stay in prison at least. Like goodness, with a life sentence minimum. Yeah, but they set him free. If they set free attempted murderers, what else is out here rolling the streets of California? Are rapists among them? Because frankly, who's worse between a rapist and an attempted murderer? A man that goes and thrusts himself into the body of a woman asabadly and then leaves her alone to suffer PTSD, versus one that thrusts a knife 10 times into her and then leaves her dead on the side of the street until somebody sees her and then she lives. Who there is to go free? I don't know. Like, are rapists walking among you there in America? Guys with like sexual assault in their belt? Who's walking among you? I need to know. What under heaven were you thinking to set free an attempted murderer? Because now he's trying to finish what he started. Like proper. An attempted murderer is not a guy that was careful to miss vital organs. It's a guy that was unlucky because his victim lived. His intention was to kill. Why the heck did he not stay in jail? Let me save my content. I lost my footage again. You know what, guys? Yazin. I'm sick and tired of skipping exercise just for the sake of talking. I was speaking for like a whole half an hour, rapping on about this creature from America and what a mess he is. And I'm not gonna repeat myself because I'm not missing exercise just because my phone is giving me grief. I lost like half an hour worth of a chat session. Yeah, I spoke for like 30 minutes and I still lost that footage because I've got issues with my phone. But I will carry on from where I left off because it is what it is. Mamelang, listen up, okay? Can we just kind of like get this out there? America unleashed. I don't know. I do not know where I last ended in the last part, what I was talking about. But I believe I might have mentioned in that previous part that this guy's from California that's busy trying to kill me through my family. A man that is scary. He is scary, but he hopes that the day will arrive when I accept him because I'm scared of him. Like, yeah, I just embrace him because I'm freaking out. I end up going back there because, ooh, witchcraft is rough. I really don't know like if it's a guy, but we'll try. I am so frustrated with me losing all of my content, but whatever. I spoke about how it is that the other day I discovered that in California of America, they have the death penalty. I don't know whether or not the death penalty in California or in California is like an American thing. I don't know if the whole country across all states have the death penalty or if it's just a law that is unique to that particular state and it can be different in another state. I don't know. Maybe it is like that, angazi, right? Yes, like it, guys. And I was crying about how it is that if at all that state has got the death penalty, how under heaven could they conjure up in their bones to set free a man that went to prison for attempted murder when they're prepared to neutralize from the earth altogether men that went to the extreme of killing, men that went to the extreme of complete murder. Yeah, I mean, I don't get that. And I even spoke about how it is that the death penalty, how I found out that California as a state has the death penalty in the US was through yet another sin that America is committing currently. And it's that they apparently are giving what do they call, like boob jobs? What do they call them? Mammoplasties, whatever, like boob jobs to death row inmates that are transitioning as gender reaffirming care. That's how I discovered that California has the death row, because somebody was reporting on the fact that they have the brazen audacity to give mastectomies. I think they called whatever, like a boob job for transitioning males on death row. They are giving them boob jobs as gender reaffirming care. Like, this is like basically the epitome of taking prison reform too far. So if at all California can have a death penalty, How under heaven, when the whole world got coronavirus, how under heaven did they imagine that it was feasible for them to set free out of the plethora of criminals they could have taken out to socially distanced prisons? How could they have chosen attempted murder as one of the feasible categories of men and women that they're gonna let go? Like, I'll take a petty thief any day. Like the dude that robbed a liquor store. Like, any day, roaming around in these streets, before I will grab a dude that drove a knife into a person a couple of times. Like, white-collar criminals that committed, money laundering, racketeering, embezzlement of company funds. Yeah, they could have let those guys go. Like, grand larceny is a better thing to take in one stride than attempted murder. Because the only reason why attempted murder is not murder is because the individual in question that was nearly killed made it. They got taken to hospital, the doctors stitched them up, they got given blood donations, and so they made it. They might not have made it. I don't know what in the world under heaven puts a person on death row. What do you have to do to be on death row? What, like, is it just basic murder? First degree murder, I would imagine. Yeah? Maybe not culpable homicide. Like, first degree murder. Or do you have to be, like, extremely first degree murdery? Like a bit of a Ted Bundy? Bit of a Jack the Ripper, Hannibal Lecter? Is that what wins you death row in California? Do you have to be one of those, like, extremes? If death row is available in America, I don't know why then they're not putting all those women who keep aborting their babies on death row, because they're killers. That's what they are. But anyway, whatever. I don't know what extreme of murder a person has to commit to be put on death row in America, but the fact in California, but the fact that in California death row is a thing, like the death penalty is a thing. How under heaven, when they were tabulating who to set free to socially distance the prisons, how did they come up with attempted murderers? How? Like, you gonna tell me that maximum security prisons couldn't be just left alone? You gonna tell me that prisons that are filled with guys who stole cars, guys who embezzled funds, laundered money, hey, like kidnapped some children, are you gonna tell me that they, amidst all of those other categories of criminals, that they could have kept in prison or let go, that they imagined it was feasible to let go of attempted murderers, people that did not quite finish a job they started? They didn't finish a job. So this guy, like, escaped by the skin of his teeth like a bullet, proper. Death row, he did. They go and they put a person that was nearly on death row back on the streets. And now he is out here killing in Africa. He's killing a woman from across the streets. That's the stuff that I was lamenting about before I lost my footage. I'm so exhausted of losing my footage. Like, I'm done at this point. I'm just so tired. I am out of my mind with fatigue. Like, what in the world? This guy was unleashed on not just me, but his ex-wife. Like, I am weary. I'm so exhausted. Like, why do I have to keep repeating myself? Like, this dude was supposed to go away for so long that his ex-wife went and had 2 children by 2 different baby daddies while he was in there, because she wasn't expecting him to come out. And when they set him free, she was pregnant with the second child. She was pregnant. And when he asked her, "Are you pregnant?" upon just pitching at the door, she was like, no, because she was that scared of him. Why was she scared of him? He was a wife beater. That's the kind of man that he was. So she lied about a pregnancy until she delivered. The level of spite in that man and bitterness in him is so exorbitant that look at what he's doing to thwart and block my life from moving ahead. So I would imagine that he's probably put his ex-wife on welfare. He's done something to her. There's no way that, like, he's such a spiteful man, and he is so embittered by life that there's no way that he has left his ex-wife alone. So essentially, if at all he's busy with me. So basically, the Californian government has essentially just unleashed a man on all the women that he's got beef with now. They have unleashed him on everyone that he's got a bone to pick with. Kimaloi. Like, witchcraft, yes. Like, a man like Thabo Bester from here, South Africa. You know that Nandipa and Thabo Bester thing? Utabo mina to me Kimoloi. There's no way that Nandipa would have done that without a help with witchcraft. Thabo Bester was able to get a Sangoma in. Do you understand what I'm saying? To prison, to do a spell or 2 on Nandipa, to make sure that Nandipa is basically faithful to him through and through no matter what, to a point of getting the woman to destroy her own future just to be with him. Yeah. So this guy, like, from prison, while I understand that witchcraft is doable when you are in prison, you can get a woman to come and besuk you. That Okie would never have bothered himself with a South African woman sitting in an American prison. He would not have tried to make a Nandipa out of me because I was too far away. He would have just afflicted American women. He would have just gone and fetched a voodoo priest to help him make sure that his baby mama or his ex-wife comes. And then maybe even orchestrate his escape. He was supposed to spend a long time in prison. And America set him free. And now he is literally looking at a woman in South Africa. Oketo. I had to go and meet like the scum of the earth from America, like proper. I had to go and meet the scum of America. The worst men that America can produce, I had to go and meet one. Like that guy would never have gotten a word in if I probably had met him physically live. And that's why the content that I lost, my goodness, like women, you need to stop online dating because you don't know what in the world you are meeting with, what you're coming up. Like, stop deliberately putting yourself on websites for dating, especially you Christian women, like telling yourself that it's a Christian dating website. I'm sorry, catfish is a real thing. Catfish of true statistics, true personality, true girth, true how you actually look. Yeah, you will see a man from a grainy video on FaceTime and you will think, oh, he's cute, until you meet him and he's shorter than you by something like 10 centimeters when you didn't sign up for that. You will meet him and realize he's too skinny. Never mind physical characteristics, but you will meet him and come to learn that he lied. I don't know how many times that guy lied to me and I caught him in the act and I still continued. I'm multilingual. I speak English and my languages, Tswana, Zulu, whatever. Because of my multilinguistic like thing that I've got going, I asked this guy, seeing as he was half American, half Chilean or whatever. I asked him if he knew Spanish because his dad was from that side, and he said yes, responding to me even with the word sí. And I was like, okay, then please tell me this, say this to me in Spanish, say this to me in Spanish, say this to me in Spanish. And he had to like dig up in his brain on some and I was like, why did you say you can speak Spanish? Like, why? He was just into throwing lies and like proper. It's like somebody asking me if I speak Afrikaans. I can't say yes, because while I understand some Afrikaans words, I am not fluent in Afrikaans. To a point where if somebody asks me if I can speak Afrikaans, for me to say yes, it's a deception. Only because I'm taking for granted that this person is not from South Africa, so won't know that my Afrikaans is broken. And so I don't speak Afrikaans. I just know a couple of Afrikaans words. Because I went to a school where Afrikaans was one of the languages taught, but I never grasped it sufficiently enough for me to be fluent in the language. So you don't get to like boast or lay claim to the language if you can't speak it. That guy had the same level of proficiency of Spanish, the level of proficiency that I have in Afrikaans. Every so often, here and there, you say understand a few words. But really, come on, you don't speak Afrikaans, relax. Kodwa isiZulu neSetswana, that wakhona go sibu. He lied to me just so he could also get to be bilingual. I caught him in the act because he was busy struggling around for words. The way that when I speak Afrikaans, I'm struggling around for words and I mix them with English. I have to look stuff up. That level of lying, that's the kind of stuff that you get when you allow yourself to date online. Person will either tell you that they speak Spanish and English and Portuguese. They will tell you that they graduated from this and that like higher learning institution, when the thing that it is the equivalent of like a learnership program where a company hires you and then through their trading program for a year you get some kind of a certification, and then he claims it's a degree. He then claims it's a degree because you don't know any better. You don't know the universities of his country, and so he will show you a certificate from like wealth management that you studied for a year. Go Boston City campus. That's a certificate, Yajara. And you will claim it's a degree. That's the problem with catfishing. Like, you need to just trust God to providentially orchestrate something for you. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself allowing an evil thing to come into your life. An incredibly nefarious thing to come into your life that is going to have found out of you a diamond in the rough. You will have been so much of a find to him that he will hold on to you. Wankutla. For dear life. He will hold his breath underwater just pretending to be strong. Just pretending. Because what you are, in his own ecosystem, women steer clear from him. What you are, women like you, abamfun. What you are, women like you don't want him. Women like you, like, keep a distance from them. And so they deceive you by the very fact that you are talking to them from online. They deceive you by the very fact that you're talking to them from a distance. You don't see all the details. The devil is in the details, and those details you cannot happen upon them when you are dealing with a man, a batung, that can catfish the living daylights out of you. Lie to you, telling you that he can speak Spanish when you know what a fluent Spanish person sounds like. Even though you don't understand a single word they say, you can tell the difference between a fluent person and one that's busy trying to find his, like, scratching his word. What the word love is in Spanish. What the word hello, goodbye is in Spanish. What the word yes is in Spanish. Yes, like that guy. He was obviously substandard for me, obviously. But he would say all different kinds of things just to get me to basically accommodate him. I should have known. And women, you have put me and other women like me in a position to get tortured and abused by men like those. You have put me in a position to get abused by men like those, because once they find something really good that they don't deserve, that they've never happened upon somewhere else where it would never suspect them for what rubbish they are, they don't let it go. They have gotten a taste of class. They've gotten a taste of virtue, a taste of a really good girl. They've gotten a taste of a really truly gorgeous woman, like a woman that is in and out beautiful. They've never, like, women like that would never have looked at them. Like, in his own ecosystem, he just does not attract such girls. Gold teeth. He's used to the kinds of women that don't even ask questions as to where his money is coming from. Kinds of women that are so used to losing boyfriends to, like, gang violence, that when every boyfriend passes away, they mourn for a year, and next year they're dating another gangster. Women who don't care where the money's coming from, just as long as the guy's providing. Don't ask questions. Don't ask, don't tell. Women who know that, like, who are prepared even to lie to the police as to where their boyfriends are. Those are the kinds of women that this guy's used to dating. The kinds of women that he married. And then he met a woman that was above reproach, got frustrated with me because I asked him a whole bunch of questions, realized later what a gem he had, and that he will never find it again. And now he is so obsessed with it, to a point where he is literally killing my husband before he even arrives. He has cast spells to kill my husband before he arrives. Any man that would ever ask me out, he has basically shot them down before they can even talk. He has created an atmosphere around me of loneliness, so no one will ever talk to me. And recently I had a dream of me begging and groveling at his feet, basically accommodating him as my husband, because nobody loves me, everybody hates me, so I'm gonna eat some worms. Like, when you capitulate to such wickedness because you're scared of a man, you just allow him. Like, Papa, this is like Papa action. This is like Yizo, where little schoolgirls agree to date gangsters because if you don't date them, they might kill you or they might rape you. So rather consent and don't resist, so that it is easier for you, instead of you having such a feisty time. So in order to avoid a beating, act as if though you're consenting to sex, which is essentially just rape, but you gotta act like you're consenting so you don't also get bruises over and above your virtue being decimated. Yeah, that's this guy. And women put me at the mercy of such a man as that. He will never let me go. He has to die. He won't let me go. Because like I told you, it's like I'm dating Ice Cube from Boys in the Hood. It's like I'm with some dude, like literally the slums of America, like the ghettos of America. Like every country has got its bad neighborhoods, you understand? And I had to go and find a guy from a bad neighborhood of America. I had to go and find the scum of America, like proper. And I never would have ever looked at him if at all I had seen him for what he was. Just a loose cannon. And America set him free, they let him out, and now he is doing exactly what he's been doing all his life. Crime. But this time it's anonymous. It's witchcraft. And he's trying to kill a woman that will have nothing to do with him. He's gross, he's disgusting, he's detestable. He makes me sick, he makes me gag. But he wants me, and he wants me high and low. And he thinks that, like Brad Pitt in the movie Meet Joe Black, he can go into eternity with Claire Forlani. Because he's become this, like, greedy angel of death that wants to go and take a woman with a whole future ahead of her into eternity because he fell in love with her. He is just this, like, dead thing that wants to grab a living woman and take her into eternity with him. What do we get on my what do you call this? My Romeo. Nakele Juliet. He will stop at nothing. And it's like, as in, those of you who abandon women to suffer at the mercy of such men as these, what you have done is basically create out of women vigilantes You have made out of us, by subjugating us to the tyranny of such violence from men, you have made us the kinds of women that even though they would never have killed a fly, now have got blood dripping from their knives. Because they had to kill men before these men killed them. That's what you convert women into. Your abandonment of women, leaving them at the mercy of disgusting men, has put more blood on women's hands than is absolutely necessary. Women that just wanted to go and live peaceful lives now are garnering for themselves a stalkers that they want dead. Like this guy in America, I want him dead in the worst way. Where I got Twarek a stray bullet, somebody just needs to neutralize him. A stray bullet, a car accident, anything, a train, a truck, a bus. Let him just go. Because I cannot, for the life of me, deal with the level of insanity and Jaena. He is busy Gadichar. He is in love with a woman that wants nothing to do with him. She is scared of him. What in the world would happen if I were to find myself in a marriage with a man like that? Would I sleep with a machete under my bed? With an okapi? Tipa? Would I have a house that if you were to scan a metal detector across it, coming from strange corners because I've hidden a knife? Because that's what abused wives live like under husbands they cannot leave. They've got like pepper spray in their purses. They've got knives and funny like compartments in their houses. Lest this man should beat her up so much that he won't stop this time around. She's been in hospital once or twice already, and she knows that one day he's gonna kill me. So to basically improve her chances of entering eternity, of not entering eternity, she then has got like this thing in her possession. She's got like a little gun to make sure that just before he finally administers the lethal blow, I will kill him first. Like when you're so scared of your husband that you sleep with a knife underneath your bed, lest he should turn around in bed and just kind of like land in a posture, like a strangulation posture. Just like flip as he's snoring and just like land on your neck. That's what I would be if I ended up capitulating or settling for this man. I would always be scared. I would be on edge. I would be worried about his demons. I wouldn't even be in love with him. I'd be just scared, but settling. And every so often, when he just nudges or he starts to raise his voice, I would like literally do this more couch and get where I've got a knife, and if this guy charges me, it's gonna land in his heart. It's gonna land in his heart. I am not about to put myself in such a dangerous situation. This guy, he is abusive. He is abusive. His first wife was even his second wife was scared to tell him that she's pregnant because he is abusive. Abusive. And he's trying to come into my life, and the only reason he feels entitled is because of my life's conditions where I've been abandoned by women. Women, do you understand? To be at the mercy of such men as these. A man that found a gem that's never been with a gem in his life. That don't know anything, no difference. They don't know what a good man is. So they're always dating these horrible guys. They're always just settling. For them, it's just about money. It's about basic necessities, just survival. They don't expect good treatment. They don't anticipate men will do better. They don't expect honesty in a man. They don't expect integrity and virtue, value, nothing. All they are just at the mercy of men that every so often give them loads of cash, wads of it, and they don't even know where it comes from. They don't ask questions. It's all they're running with. And when you're used to women like that, and one day you come across one that actually could not care less to go and eat the bread of idleness, of course you're going to want to latch onto her. But you're a gangster. Given that you're a gangster, all you can do is force a woman to be with you even though she doesn't want to. He's been like holding people hostage all his life. He's been stealing all his life. He's been a criminal all his life. All he knows is how to take things by force with a gun. And now he's doing that with a woman all the way in Africa because he taught himself witchcraft. Next part.